So yeah, on that controversial note, I'm gonna bring up my second couple books. I'm gonna do two books. And one the second this is issue 1 and 2, and the second issue is my cover of the week. And that is Frontiersman, the first two
Oh, nice.
issues. And I got these because I saw the second issue. I thought, holy hell, that cover's really good. But also, Dan, you said some really interesting things about it last week, and so I really kind of wanted to check out. So it's written by Patrick. Sorry, it's written
before
by.
you dive in, the second issue is like a pull-out cover, isn't it?
Well, the two of them have both double like their sides, so like yeah, you can like open that bad boy up.
Yeah, I just want to really show off the cover since it's your cover of the week.
Get your peepers on that.
All right, now you can talk about it. I just wanted to show that off.
Well, I'll show you the first one. The first one's not as exciting because I'm like, it's just a bunch of bushes. Like I was like, yeah, there's a weird robot in there, but I was like, really? You couldn't put something in there? You know, it's just a bunch of bushes. But yeah, so so this threw me a loop. I'm telling you, these two issues threw me a loop because Dan said something really interesting to me last week, and I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, this is a talking point. It's written by Patrick Kindlon, and it's drawn by Marco Ferrari. The art in it is sensational, right? It's really good. Now, I actually read these issues twice for a specific reason. One of them was, again, what Dan brought up, right? So I read it, and it's a good, fun book. It's nothing sensational. It's just like it's a fun read. Like it's about a climate changing, like aware hero that is like, you know, like social justice and that.
Let's say to put it in like a non-politically correct way, he's basically a superpowered tree hugger.
Yeah, that's a perfect
honestly,
way to
like that's the vibe that I got from the first issue. So I was like, I don't know if this book is for me. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying that in a way that like I don't care about like climate change or something, but like that's not like a fictional story that I want to read about. Like it feels a little too real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very curious to see what else you have to say though.
Yeah, so I read it and I was like, this is cool. Like I read the first issue and I'm like, this is cool. Okay, like it's got some decent characters. As I say, the art is phenomenal. That's what pulled me into it, was the art. The story wise, it's a bit weird, like, but not weird in like a great way. It just feels a bit random. And then like before, like, so I read the second issue and it was more of the same. Now, the thing I'm going to comment on that changes this review for me is, as Dan brought up last week, what the writer Patrick Kindlon wrote after the first issue, his afterword of it. That is one of the weirdest things I have ever read, because he basically, and he doesn't do it in an overly aggressive way, but he basically disses Marvel and DC and says that, you know, Invincible, like there's gems out there like Invincible and stuff, and that like indie comics need to be better, and that's what his series will be. His series will be what Marvel and DC don't do. And like he did this thing where, as you brought up last week, it's like times one. Like what is it? It's like times one. One like, so here, look. I don't know if it's bad to front. 1 month as the best superhero comic on the shelves. That is a ballsy claim, right? And it's nowhere near the best comic on the shelves.
That's
like,
what I
nowhere
said.
near.
I said it last week. I was like, man, this book really did not do very much for me. I read that one digitally, so that's why I didn't buy issue 2 on Wednesday. But I probably will get issue 2 digitally again, just to kind of see, like you said, the cover looks cool. There might be a little bit more to it this time. But yeah, I was like, that's a bold claim. And I don't ordinarily read like the afterword. But I did for this one as well. So I saw all the same things. And I'm like, he's got some balls. Like, you respect it, but at the same time, it's like you're not really backing it up. Like, you have time. I know it's just one issue. But I'm like, you're making a lot of like bold statements and not really like, I don't know. For me, I feel like a first issue, if you're going to follow it up with claims like that, then you need to have like a fucking like gut punch to start the book off. And it absolutely did not have that. It felt like a filler issue.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've done some investigative journalism while you guys are talking. So I didn't recognize that the writer's name. And with you saying that he's making bold claims like DC Marvel sucks, basically, this is the best superhero comic, whatever. That sounds like a guy that would not have does not aspire to be working for Marvel or DC at one point, right? So, but he has a musical background. He's like a punk singer, or he's in punk bands. So it sounds like comics isn't his first gig. So if he pisses a lot of people off, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like he has a fallback plan. Okay, he does have a fallback plan. Comics isn't what he's focused on. So when he's saying bold claims like it's the best superhero comic and whatnot, I'm assuming that's kind of like a brash punk rock, like F you guys, I'm doing comics the way it should be done kind of thing, which is kind of endearing to me. I love punk sensibilities.
So you saying that makes perfect sense, because it does. I don't remember it like word for word anymore or anything. It's been a couple weeks since I read that first issue, but it does kind of scream like a fight the system type of, like, you know, don't give in to like the societal norm type of shit. Like I'm making it a little more preachy than it actually was, but like it gives off those vibes, which in a lot of ways is very punk rock, I suppose. So like you saying that he was part of a band or like has a musical background and so on and so forth, all of that adds up to me.
Right. So I grew up on punk music. I still love punk music, and I'm kind of an old punker myself. Now I want to read this because, and he's got other comics that were released with smaller publishers like Black Mask and whatnot. So tonight after the show, I'm going to be looking up Patrick Kindlon to find out all of his stuff, because anybody with that kind of mentality or that kind of like brashness, I'm like there for. Like that's like my thing. Like I don't have that myself, but I aspire to have that. It's like kind of like I live vicariously through these punk rockers that have the audacity and the balls to say things like that. Like I can't imagine being so freshly new to comics to where like your peak now is like you have like a new Image title, and to basically, I don't know what I'm not putting words in his mouth, but to basically like put your middle fingers up and say like Marvel DC sucks. Like that's what I love a lot about like the underground comics that I kind of showed off some of them earlier. Like those kinds of guys would say stuff like that, like the 70s and 80s. They'd be like, F you guys, like that mainstream stuff is like garbage. Like this is the way to do comics. And even though I love Marvel and DC comics, like just like that brashness, like I can get behind them. Like, yeah, like Dan said, it's like against the system kind of thing. So now I want to read Frontiersman, and I want to read more of Patrick Kindlon stuff. But I'm sorry, Connor, I detracted from your review.
I don't want to like drag this out too much longer either, but like, and the thing is, I respect all that. I respect what he's saying. A lot of it, I was like, you know what? I agree with this. And like, he brought up some good books. Invincible was not the only one that he referenced. I think he brought up Empowered, and there was like 2 or 3 other ones. Yeah, if you want to double check, I know there was a few.
The Astro City, Black Hammer, the Elementals, Concrete, Badger, and Empowered.
Damn, Badger, Concrete, and
Empowered.
Said something else there.
Empowered?
No.
Elementals. Yeah.
Those are like deep pulls. So this guy, he's been a comics fan his whole life. So he's not someone that is just doing comics just because it sounds fun to him, but he's really a musician. Like those are deep pulls from like the 80s. Like Elementals, I forget who did that one. Badger though, I have like a handful of issues from that. That's from Mike Barron, I think. But those are like deep pulls that he's pulling from that.
Yeah, I had to, all 3 of those, I had to look them up. I was like, I've never heard of these. Like obviously you hear about Black Hammer because that's still going on in some capacity. Yeah. Empowered's not that old, even though it's not really my thing. Astro City obviously is a big deal. We brought it up earlier. But yeah, so he, like, to a point, I'm like, dude, like you're not really getting off on the right foot here. So I hope that you're not trying to put yourself in that company yet. Because he's like, this is the best superhero book like this month or whatever. And I'm just like, it's not even the best superhero book like at the publisher you're using. Like I'd put Radiant Black above it. Honestly, I'd probably put Spawn above it if I was reading it, just because that's how little like Frontiersman did for me.
Okay, so Connor, I have 2 questions while you finish here. One, I want to know how the book was, because I don't think you've gotten to that point yet. You said that the art blew you away, but I want to know like the story and stuff, like where it's going. And then 2, you guys will be more well versed to answer this for me. But there was a rumor like when Radiant Black was coming out that Image is kind of creating their own like a new superhero universe. Like obviously Invincible had like crossovers and whatnot. The early Image days had crossovers in their superhero universe. but it seems like there's like rumors they were going to do like a new superhero universe for Image, and Radiant Black was kind of like the precipice for this. Is this in any way look like it could potentially cross over one day, and like this is part of that, or
no?
Okay. I didn't know.
Honestly, I feel like it would have to be. Yeah, I agree that it shouldn't, and I feel like for it to, it would have to be in some weird kind of like interdimensional shit. Like, I don't think it would be like, oh, maybe there's a chance that they actually live on the same like planet or whatever, because like they both take place, like, you know, on Earth. I don't foresee that, but to what you're saying, I haven't heard those rumors, but I wouldn't be surprised if that starts coming a little bit more to fruition next year with the whole like big 30th anniversary deal that they've been making. I don't know what to expect from that, but I mean, I'd be all for it because I like how Invincible kind of handled like a not so shared universe, but kind of shared universe. I'm glad you brought that up though, because I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything more than when Radiant Black was being like before the first issue came out and they were doing like press for it and stuff. That was one of the things they were talking about. I don't know the exact wording they used, but it was kind of like this thing where they're like teasing like the idea of having a new superhero universe with Image, and they didn't quite say like if it's gonna be like just a Kyle Higgins thing that he was running, like he's gonna do other spinoffs, or if it's gonna be like other creators or jump. Like they never got into any sort of details. It's just like kind of a tease kind of thing. But how is issue 2 then? So is this a series that you're gonna keep pulling? Like,
I don't know. I just
don't feel obligated to say yes.
No, but it's the weirdest. I have had such a trip with this book. Like again, I read it twice because here's the thing, right? I read the 2 issues and I thought they were fun, right? And they're fun issues. Like they're not particularly what I would say is what I'm looking for in a great comic or a masterpiece of a comic, but they're fun. But his ballsy claim made me go, oh, whoa, you want me to review this in a different light. You don't want me to look at this as fun. You want me to look at this as like best things to slice bread. So I was like, I'm going to reread this and your eyes. And it was shit. When you apply this, like, this is better than everything else, it's bogging. It's like not good at all. Whereas if you read it without that, it's fine. It's good fun. You know, like it's not genre defining. And to be honest, like, you know, like I'm pretty upfront. I really love that kind of confidence coming at the end. But make sure your stuff's not shit. You know, like
do you think any part of that's like tongue in cheek though? That he doesn't literally believe that this is the best superhero comic, that he's kind of like saying like, hey guys, like this is the best superhero comic you should be reading.
I don't know. The thing is, right, the second issue, he does another afterword, and he compares the second issue to Mike Grell's Green Arrow. And I was like, this guy does not stop. Like, he just keeps going. Jesus. Okay, now I have to read the second issue again, like it's a fucking Mike Grell book. You know, like
issue 3 is going to be all in 9-panel grids. He's going to say this is
it'll be an Alan Moore Watchmen. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. See, and I think that's a hell of a point that you raised, because I read the first, like, obviously I didn't read the afterword before I read the first issue. So when I read it, I was like, okay, I'm entertained, you know, but I was able to like retroactively like picture it again in my head after having read the afterword, and I was like, this, like I said, it's not what you're saying. I mean, and maybe he's being brash on purpose, like for attention. Maybe it's like a marketing thing. Maybe he's just, I'm here, see me. I don't actually care what you think. I'm being facetious when I say that this is the best superhero book on the rack. You know, I'm just here for marketing purposes or whatever. All of that is possible. But if he means it, then he needs to get his shit together.
Yeah. The thing is like, right, I wouldn't normally be this brutal in a review because I don't want anyone coming after me. But like, you know, the thing is he says, and when he says that, he's like, look, we're going to continue to put this number up each issue, you know, like 2 months of being the best comic on the shelf. And if you disagree with that, that's fine. He wants to hear that. So I'm just saying what he wants to hear. And if he's punk rock and he's happy to fuck the system, then I'll fuck his system and sell him when he's, you know. So
I'm gonna have to find him on Twitter and be like, "Hey, man, your book's not up to snuff with this ACYMI book that I just read."
The way he's talking, I love it. I love the confidence. I love that sort of stuff. You know, like throw it at me, like, you know. And the thing is there is a bit like, you know, I gotta give him some credit, because when he writes the stuff, as crazy as I was finding it, he does, like, what in the second issue, he compares the second issue to like Mike Grell's Green Arrow, but he says that he does not write like Mike Grell. Like, it's inspired by him, and like he said, like, he's got too much Marvel in him. But again, I'm like, okay, well, now I got to read it like it's a Marvel book. What do you say? You know, like, I just don't know. I don't get the vibe. I like know how you're saying it's tongue in cheek. By all means, it could be. I just don't know. I don't know how to take it. I don't know what and like, you know, in regards to the books themselves, it's just weird because like the first book is like this former superhero coming out of retirement, and you know, as Dan described him, is like a tree hugger. It's like a superhero tree hugger, you know. But then the second issue takes place in space with like a space character, and you're just like, this is nuts. Which again is fun. I enjoy it, but it's not the best thing I'm reading. And I felt like my pull list was strong this week, which made it even more. And the thing is like, I could have actually said this was worse than New Burn, but I'm so confused by this book. I don't know if I can say it's the worst. You know, I feel like it got to get some credit for the ballsiness of it, because I appreciate it, you know?
Yeah, before you move on, I just have two things to say. One, a sane person would be hearing both you guys what you're saying and think like, I don't need to read this comic. But I feel like I need to read it even more now. Like I'm excited to go find it and read it just because it sounds crazy. But another thing, it's kind of working for him. We're talking about it. We're spending a lot of time on the issue.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we're talking about it, and you know, like, as I say, like, I'm maybe being overly harsh because his punk rock nature we've just found out, you know. But yeah, it's just a very odd book. I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to read it. I don't know. It's a bit like off balance with it, you know.
Well, you've already read it three times in three different contexts. So.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay, I have no clue. I do think that he.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. The thing is as well, he has these like character bios at the back, and like these characters, he's given them like Wikipedia pages worth of like history.
Yeah, but I couldn't read through it. I saw the one in the back of the first issue. I was like, nope, can't do it. I've got shit.
And they're every issue, like a character may get introduced, and they're like these whole Wikipedia pages, and I'm like, I would read this if they were interesting enough to read. Like, I don't care enough to read those background stories, you know. Like, it's just, you know. But saying that, like, again, like, look, the art is incredible. Like, if I can just. Like, the art is amazing.
Yeah, I think for me, it's one of those things where, like, it's not my favorite kind of art, but, like, in the context that it's in, I am actually a big fan of it.
You know?
Like, that looks awesome.
Yeah, the art is incredible. And I was totally sold. And then by the end of the first issue, I was like, what did I just read? And I was like, that was pretty good. And then you read the afterward, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I had the same thought as you, though.
I know you're saying that
after I read it, I was like, this actually wasn't that great. Like, I liked it, but now I kind of don't, because this guy is like being kind of cocky.
I love the back matter stuff, though, and I know you're saying it's not interesting, so I guess not all back matter is good. Not all back matter is created equal. But I respect the fact that it looks like he is diving deep into these characters enough to build on this universe. So it seems like he's deeply invested into the story.
He said he's building a universe with it.
Yeah, because that's like the Alan Moore way of writing. Like Alan Moore, like he even wrote like a book of like how to write comics, and he always says like he does like the thing where if you're writing a story, you need to do character study so deep that you know how character A likes his steak cooked, or how character B would react if someone bumped into him in public. Like those kinds of things where like those scenarios might not come up, but you need to know them in case like you get to a path in your story where you make that. So it seems kind of like that school of thought, like he's like diving deep into these profiles and stuff. So I respect that. If it's interesting or not, it's another thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, I don't normally, if I speak this aggressively or passionately about something, I bloody love it. So I'm like, do I secretly love it? And I'm just in denial with myself. Like, I just don't know. I just have no clue. And I don't know about picking up issue 3. I kind of want to, just because it's just, I don't know. Okay. It's the question mark of the week.
Oh my God. Maybe that's like the hook. He's saying that it's the best book on the racks, and he wants us to fucking read it to find out one way or another.
Yeah, it's working. I didn't sleep last night.
Yeah, no, it's working, because I'm probably going to read issue 2 either after this or tomorrow, and then I'll probably be in the same position as you anywhere. It's like, I'm too curious to not keep reading right now.
Right, you know what? I genuinely think right now we should do a Chicken Devil, and we should review this every month, this single issue, and just talk about it and see what we think about it.
I'm game for it. I love what Dan's saying. That's a marketing tool. Like, imagine if someone a little bit different was like, this is going to be the greatest comic book you've ever read, and like, you just keep waiting, just wait until the next issue. So like, this hooks people to buy every issue. This is like waiting for the payoff to where it like blows their mind, and it never does, but they just keep buying every issue because
and look at me, I'm smiling. So I'm like, did I like? I don't know. Like, I just have no clue. I don't know. This is like, as I say, you know, if Newbert, if I have a top pick of the week and worst pick of the week, this is the question mark of the week. Like, I don't know how to feel. So yeah, I think we should maybe look at that and do the thing I just said. Like, basically everything I just said, let's do the opposite and review it monthly. Let's just go for it.
So not only is he going to get just your money, he's going to get 3 other people's money as well for these books.
This guy,
whether or not they're shit.
This guy's going to watch this video and listen to me for the first 10 minutes and go, I fucking hate this guy. And then by the end of it, he's like, he just got me 2 new customers. I love this guy.
And the valuable exposure that you can only get on the Cupcake YouTube channel. The fact that all of our 54 subscribers are going to listen and watch this video. Please subscribe so we have a bigger number. But that's advertising space too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he just got a call on our Sunday service, so like, that's a big deal. Hey, I've been waiting for one of those, and that was good. That was worth the wait, to be honest with you. So
clip that one out. We got the clip for the week.
Hey, guy will look at me going through all these emotions, going, yeah. My job is done.
He's just saying, got him.
yeah, basically.
I say it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing at like the TV or whatever the fuck it is. He's like, his every emotion that you just expressed is all the ones that he wanted you to feel. He's like, boom, like.
And all this to say, it is about as we say, a tree hugging superhero. Maybe there is genius in there. I don't know. Again, I flip-flop. I go back and forward. Good luck sleeping tonight. I tell you that. Pondering this question.
I'm not going to sleep because I'm not going to sleep because I don't have possession of these issues right now, and I want to read them so bad.
Get them. They'll be collector's items soon. We're now making them collector's items. He's loving us.
They get up CGC'd because this is not only going to be the greatest comic book of all time, but the greatest movie, the greatest TV show, the greatest animated show.
I just heard Netflix is picking it up. You heard it here first. Go on your websites. Everyone's got it now. So yeah. That said, we'll put that bed till issue 3 next month, and then we'll lose our minds again.